Hi BuzzFeed, do you wish your credit card award points could be applied to health insurance? Then it's time for Hard Times with Zay Frank.
Hard Times.
On the last installment of Hard Times, Claire D reacted by saying,
"Am thinking that Zay Frank's sense of humor is going through hard times, long frowny face."
Good observation, Claire. Humor is one of the first things to get hit when you wake up with a raging hard time. That's because comedy is expensive. It costs over $100,000 to create a single episode of the madcap hilarity of SNL. And Paris Hilton's breakaway comedy hit The Hottie and the Naughty cost $9 million. My budget is only $100, which gets whittled down even further after I pay for my lucky bag of $50 in loose change. But there's a hard time solution. It's called outsourcing. If you don't have the time or money to do something you love, outsource it. For example, I want to learn how to play the piano, but I can't afford one. So I'm paying a 10-year-old Filipino boy to practice till his fingers bleed for only $10 an hour. That's all well and good for piano playing, but what about humor? Simple. Elance.
Let me show you. I logged on to Elance and placed a simple ad. It read, "Please write me a joke about me having to outsource my joke writing." Within an hour, I got 2 responses, one from ProWrite in the United States for $15 an hour, and one from David Startups in Singapore for $40 an hour.
I chose David Startups from Singapore because frankly I'm sick and tired of American workers trying to undercut the cost of my cheap labor.
Besides, he was a great match. In his About Me, he wrote, "We are an IT solutions team," and in number of employees, he wrote 1. Now that's a comedy writer. His profile picture looked like this, but with a name like David Startups, I imagined this. He said my job description sounded a little weird, but he eventually agreed to write me 2 to 3 jokes for only $50. This is my receipt, which in capitalism is the closest thing to a fact. Not really. I just wanted to say that because I thought it sounded cool. Just 1 day later, David delivered, but he had a warning: some jokes might be offensive.
How well does outsourcing work? Well, you be the judge. 1. What do you call humor writing outsourced to India? Answer: cheap jokes. Which I think is funny because he said he was from Singapore, and that joke cost me $16.66. 2. Jokes outsourcing. Who said money can't buy happiness? I think that might be the offensive one. And number 3, one day the editorial manager stormed into Frank's office and asked, "Hey Frank, why have you decided to outsource your joke writing after all these years?" Frank replied, "Damn, I'm tired of being funny." Thanks, Claire, for that Hard Times tip.
Hard Times.